Welcome to Philosopher Insights, the podcast that delivers wisdom in minutes a day that you can put into practice daily and strive to master over a lifetime.
The podcast committed to sharing ideas that encourage you to bridge the gap between who you are today and the person you aspire to be in the future.
Hi, my name is Herb Lamba, and welcome to my podcast, where I will share practical insights from the world's best authors.
Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is. The quest to become the best version of you starts right now.
Hi, and welcome to Philosopher Insights. Today I'd like to share an incredible lesson shared by Alan Stein Jr. from his time with the legendary and late, great Kobe Bryant. Alan Stein Jr. is the author of Raise Your Game, which is a great book that I'll feature on this podcast soon. He's a peak performance coach who was immersed in the basketball world for 15 years and now applies those insights to the broader game of life. As he says in Raise Your Game, quote, I spent the past 15 plus years working with the highest performing athletes on the planet. I now teach people how to utilize the same strategies in business and life that elite players and teams use to perform at a world-class level. My goal for this book is simple: to educate and inspire readers to take immediate action to improve their mindset, habits, and value. End quote. If you examine Kobe Bryant's life, I believe you can extract so many life lessons from this iconic basketball player, businessman, husband, and father beyond the one I am sharing today. I recognize he was not perfect. He certainly made mistakes. But when you look at the totality of what he achieved in the 41 years he was given here on earth, it's nothing short of remarkable. But it wasn't simply a gift that was handed to him at birth. He outworked everyone once he made the decision at the early age of 13 that he wanted to be the greatest basketball player ever. Nike flew Alan Stein Jr. out to Los Angeles to work with the Kobe Bryant Skills Academy. At the time, Kobe was the best in the world. Here is Alan sharing what he witnessed on that day.
I can't believe it's been over a decade, but back in 2007, Nike flew me out to Los Angeles to work the first ever Kobe Bryant Skills Academy. Nike brought in the top high school and college players from around the country for an intense 3-day mini camp with the best player in the world. And I know some of you follow hoops, but I don't know if everyone does. So let me paint the picture. In 2007, Kobe was the best player in the game. Michael Jordan, who everybody's heard of, had already retired, in fact, twice at that point. And LeBron James, as great as he was still climbing that mountain. In 2007, Kobe was that dude. Well, an important fact about me, I've spent my entire life in a basketball bubble. Basketball was my first identifiable passion, and I fell in love with the game at 5 or 6 years old. So I had always heard the urban legend of how insanely intense Kobe's individual workouts were. Well, now that I was on his camp staff, I figured this was my chance. And this was my shot. So at my earliest opportunity, I walked up to him and asked if I could watch one of his private workouts. He was incredibly gracious and flashed a smile and said, sure, man, no problem. I'm going tomorrow at 4. And I got a little bit confused because I had just got done looking through the camp schedule, and the camp schedule said the first workout with the kids was the following day at 3:30. And Kobe recognized the confused look on my face, and he quickly clarified that with a wink and said, yeah, that's 4 a.m. Well, as a room of high performers and high achievers, you guys realize there's not really a legitimate excuse in the world on why you can't be somewhere at 4 in the morning. At least not one that a guy like Kobe's going to accept. So I'd basically committed myself to being there. And I figured if I was gonna be there anyway, I may as well try and leave my mark. I may as well try and impress Kobe and show him how serious of a trainer I was. So I came up with the plan to beat him to the gym. So I set my alarm for 3 a.m. And the alarm goes off and I jump up and I quickly get myself together and I hop in a cab and I get to the gym. Now, when I step out of the cab, it's 3:30 in the morning. It's pitch black outside. And yet from the parking lot, I can see that the gym light is already on. From the parking lot, I can even faintly hear a ball bouncing and sneakers squeaking. I walk in the side door, Kobe's already in a full sweat. He was going through an intense warm-up before his scheduled workout with his trainer started at 4. Now, out of professional courtesy, I didn't say anything to him and I didn't say anything to his trainer. I just sat down to watch. And for the first 45 minutes, I was actually shocked. For the first 45 minutes, I watched the best player on the planet do the most basic footwork and offensive moves. Kobe was doing stuff that I had routinely taught to middle school age players. Now, don't get it twisted, this is Kobe Bryant. So everything he was doing was at an unparalleled level of intensity. And everything he was doing was with surgical precision. But the actual stuff he was doing was incredibly basic. Now, the whole workout lasted a couple hours, and when it was over, again, I didn't say anything to him, didn't say anything to his trainer, I just quietly left, but my curiosity got the best of me. I had to know. So later that day at camp, I went up to him and said, Kobe, I don't get it, you're the best player in the world. Why are you doing such basic drills? And again, he was very gracious and smiled, but he said with all seriousness, why do you think I'm the best player in the world? Because I never get bored with the basics. I never get bored with the basics. Kobe Bryant, the best player in the game of basketball, said I never get bored with the basics. And as a young coach, for me, that was a life-changing lesson. And that's just because something is basic, that doesn't mean that it's easy. If it was easy, everyone else would be doing it. But as you all know, we live in a world that tells us it's okay to skip steps, that tells us it's okay to circumvent the process, that all but pushes us to chase what's hot and what's flashy and what's sexy and just ignore what's basic. But as you all know, the basics work. They always have and they always will. And the very first step to improving your performance in any area of your life, personally or professionally, individually or organizationally, is admitting that the basics work. But it's also having the humility to acknowledge that implementing them with consistency is never easy.
I absolutely love that story because of the powerful life lesson Kobe shared with Alan on that day. It doesn't matter what you want to achieve in life. You must be disciplined and willing to practice and execute the basics. You cannot get bored with the basics. In The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy says, quote, I want you to know in your bones that your only path to success is through a continuum of mundane, unsexy, unexciting, and sometimes difficult daily disciplines compounded over time. End quote. Kobe Bryant understood the importance of daily discipline and found a way to enjoy the mundane and unexciting exercises that ultimately led him to greatness. Discipline sounds like such a painful word, but what you want to do is apply these daily disciplines just long enough for them to become a habit that eventually runs on autopilot, like showering or brushing your teeth. That concludes today's Philosopher Byte. You can find the video on YouTube. It's titled, A Lesson from Kobe - Alan Stein Jr. I hope you can extract something from today's message that you can start applying to your life. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me today. Talk to you soon. You've been listening to Philosopher Insights with your host, Herb Lamba. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To go deeper with me, you can register for free at www.philosopherinsights.com for instant access to a growing library of Philosopher Insights, which are 8 to 10 page PDFs plus 20-minute MP3s that break down my favorite insights for the world's best personal development books. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Facebook at Optimal Herb. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.